Hey there. Well, we haven't done one of these videos together for a while, but we're doing another travel video. So welcome back to our little bit of a video essay on one of the trips we've been talking about for probably 10 years, at least 10 years. So here we are in Iceland, and we're in Reykjavík, and we took quite a few pictures today. We didn't do any video because we got into Reykjavík kind of real late, didn't sleep, we didn't get to our hotel room, but so we slept in the car for a few hours. So so what do you think of Reykjavík so far?
I love Reykjavík, although we did have a bit of a rough start, like you said. So good thing we don't have any record of that. But Reykjavík so far, I love it. It's such a nice small town. All of the sites are within walking distance of our hotel. Cute little streets with little buildings. Some are very colorful, and lots of history here. So we've really enjoyed Reykjavík this afternoon.
All right, and more tomorrow. We're off to Akureyri tomorrow and meet up with some family here in a couple of days. Extended cousins from a long time ago. We'll end up meeting up with them and we'll do some exploring with them. So looking forward to that. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so here we are on the second leg of our Iceland trip here. We were in Reykjavík, and we spent a couple of days there, and we headed off to Akureyri, which is the north part of the island. And we spent the last 3 days up in this area, just touring around and just having a fantastic time. So the first day, actually, we had reached out to some extended cousins and family that we knew of, that I knew of from my cousins in Saskatchewan. And see if we could reach out to them and see if we could meet up, and we actually were able to. So back in the day, around 1900, when my mother's ancestors moved to Iceland, of this family that moved here, all but one daughter came to Canada in and around the Wynyard area, and basically that daughter, her children, her ancestors are the ones that are still here, that much of our family is still in contact with. So we were able to connect up with Maria, but then she had some family issues, and so then her sister took over Asarin and was able to have us over, and we had just a lovely time meeting her husband and two of her three daughters for some really lovely Icelandic snacks and that sort of thing. We had a lovely time with them. And then in the afternoon, we kind of had the afternoon to ourselves.
Yeah, so the first thing we did was went to the motorcycle museum. Very exciting. And then I got to pick the next activity. So the next activity we did was we took about a half an hour drive up the coast, and we went to a house, and we just thought it was going to be like a house with the grass on the top.
Just sod roof house,
right,
basically.
The sod house. But it actually ended up being quite extensive underground, and it was the house of a wealthy priest from the 1800s. And there was actually a sod house in that place for the last 1,000 years, but it kept being rebuilt and built on. So when you go underground, there was actually quite a few rooms underground. Storage rooms, kitchens, even a bride's dressing room. So it was quite extensive and very interesting.
It was built into the side of a hill. It was built into the side of a hill. There was an upper floor, and then when we went into the building, we thought, well, this is kind of a cute little cottage. And then we found stairs going down to what we thought was a root cellar, when it ended up being this whole labyrinth of rooms, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And then after that, we went back to town, and we had something to eat down in their main street, and it was really fun there. There was a park there where children were playing, and people were sitting around eating, and there were different places that you could eat, so that was kind of nice. And then we wanted to go to some hot springs, and so we drove around looking for a couple of
hot springs experiences.
Yeah, and they were. Yeah, and they just weren't really quite. I was looking for some more natural hot springs, but that's not what they were. They were basically hot tubs that people had set outside, and then you could pay $25 to go sit in one of these hot tubs. And so we went and checked it out, but they were crowded with people, and it wasn't really the experience we were looking for. So we came back to town and ended up going to the Forest Lagoon, which is quite an upscale thermal spa, but it was just beautiful.
But
it was
man-made.
a very nice experience.
Concrete man-made spa, but beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Really nice experience. And so we stayed there for about 2.5 hours until I think it was about close to 11 o'clock where the sun set over the mountain, and then came back. Now the sun actually sets here in Akureyri at about 11:45 p.m. but then it comes up again just after 2 in the morning, so it never actually gets dark here. But we left the hot springs at about 11, and then the next morning we had to be up really early because we had booked a ferry to the island of Grimsey, which is just off the north coast of Iceland, but the ferry takes about 3 hours. So we got on the ferry about 9 o'clock. And of course it was very cold and windy on the ferry, and even though I had packed clothes specifically for that trip, I had forgotten to take them, so it was quite cold on the ferry. But once we got to the island, the sun was out and it was beautiful, and we ended up not needing all of the warm clothes.
And we were hoping to see basically whales or something like that, but we did see dolphins. I don't know what breed of dolphins they were, but they were kind of diving in the wake a little bit for a little while behind the ferry, so that was kind of fun to see.
Yeah, and then when we got there, one of the things I really wanted to see was puffins, and we saw so many puffins, and
thousands.
They didn't disappoint. They're the cutest little things ever. The only problem was that when I was trying to see the puffins, I went a little bit too close to where the terns were, and I must have got too close to a baby tern because I got attacked by this tern, and as I was running back hoping that you would save me from this tern, you actually just videoed it, so that wasn't very helpful.
So this is what happened.
So anyway, as we were walking around the island, we just saw more and more puffins, one cuter than the next, and ended up taking hundreds of pictures of them. And then we got to the spot where the Arctic Circle crosses the island, and there's a big globe there, basically a big round stone that marks where the circle is. And the reason why it's a big round stone is because the Arctic Circle actually moves every year, so they can keep moving the stone to show you actually where the Arctic Circle is. So it was quite fun just to say that we were in the Arctic. And then we had time to walk around the whole island, which was really nice. We were there for about 5 hours. And
met really friendly horses and lots of sheep on the island, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then when we got to the north end, there was a bit of a lighthouse, and so as we were walking,
the south end was the lighthouse.
That was the south end. Yeah. So as we got towards the lighthouse there, we could kind of see things out in the ocean, and as it turned out, we believe it would have been humpback whales. So we actually did get to see a couple of small breaches, it looks like. We're not sure exactly if it was humpbacks, but I would imagine it was. And then a couple of them just surfacing to breathe. And then after we left the lighthouse, we were probably 150 yards away. We could still hear them coming to the surface to breathe. It was pretty fantastic to hear and see them.
Mm-hmm. And so, and then on the way back, we had a 3-hour ferry ride back, and we made sure we got a seat inside this time so that we could just rest after. We were there for about 5 hours, and we walked the whole time while we were there. So it was a really great experience. The other thing about Grimsey Island is you can still see the coast of Iceland in the distance, and so it's just very beautiful, a very beautiful sight.
Just all cloud cover all the way around the island. It kind of looked like a bit of a dream or something like that.
It was kind of misty, and
yeah.
And so then we got back fairly late and went to bed. And then this morning we slept in a little bit, had a more of a relaxing morning, and then we decided to go to the Christmas store because it came highly recommended. But it was very interesting and nice to see all the Christmas decorations and stuff, but it was a little pricey. So
very pricey.
Yeah, so we just got a couple of really small decorations, and then. Oh yeah, and then we drove a half an hour or about 45 minutes out to the east of Akureyri to Goldfoss Falls, which is some very, very well-known falls.
It's right on the highway, so it's very popular.
Yeah, and they were very, very beautiful though. There was a little trail you could take that just basically went around the falls. And then after that, we decided to go to Husavik, which we are now. It was about half an hour straight north. And Husavik, it's actually been quite warm here in Iceland the whole time we've been here. We haven't had to wear a jacket very much, and I think the weather's been uncharacteristically sunny. But now that we're in Husavik, which is on the very, like the most northern city in Iceland, other than Grimsey, I think there's just outside of the town, it's very nice and warm and sunny.
Yeah.
We went for a hike, and it was very warm, but here where the mist comes off the ocean, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
So it's cold right now, but
yeah, that's the harbor right behind us, and lots of whale watching tours and stuff like that. And
yeah, but normally it's been quite warm.
Yeah.
So when we got here, we went to the whale museum first, which was actually very interesting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of reading, so that was okay. We just kind of skimmed through what we wanted to learn about, but the top floor had about six or seven.
But between all the skeletons and everything, they had probably 10 or 12 different types of whales, and they had a full-size blue whale on the main floor, and that was absolutely amazing to see. And pretty well every one of the whales there had beached themselves and so died of natural causes. Some were here in Iceland, and then they were prepared and very well displayed at the Whale Museum here in Husavik. So if anybody's ever going to Husavik, whose claim to fame is the Eurovision contest movie with Will Ferrell, I'll put the Whale Museum above that, certainly.
Yeah, so that was good. That was a good stop. And then we were looking for a hike to do, so we found a hike not too far away from here, and I need to look at the name of this again. I think it's Botnsvatn Lake. And so we drove out to the lake. It was only about a 5 or 6 minute drive. Part of it was over a gravel road, but then we walked around the whole lake, and it was just over 5 kilometers. So it was just perfect because we had dinner reservations at 7, and we got there just in time for our supper. Yeah,
a good thing we had reservations because other people were being turned away. And I got to say, I had a fish I've never had before, which is wolf fish, and he was sold it as kind of like cod, and it certainly was. It was delicious. So,
but he said not to Google it.
Yeah, I knew what it looked like, but in spite of that, I got it anyway. So, luckily, I didn't have any of the face or the head. It was quite delicious. And you had a hamburger that was really. I had a little piece of it. It was really quite good.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're actually leaving Akureyri, and we're heading east to the east part of the island. And so even though I thought this will be 4 nights here, and we've had 3 full days here, and I thought that would be lots of time, there's still so many things that we missed.
Yeah.
So we'll have to put them on the list for next time.
Yeah, I don't think this is the last time we'll be in Iceland. We're having quite a bit of fun here. So anyway, stay tuned for the 3rd stage in our Iceland trip. Hey again, so this is the 3rd and final stage of our Iceland adventure, and we have just had a wonderful time. So this last stage, we went from Akureyri to Seydisfjordur, which is a small little village just on a bit of a water inlet or fjord in Iceland on the very east part of the coast. And basically just a little town where ferries come in and out, and also kind of very small cruise ships and stuff like that. Beautiful views of the fjord, and like not a breath of wind, nice warm weather. We did a hike on the first day, and then just kind of walked around the town a little bit, had a supper, and then Giselle went out and did a solo hike by herself for many hours, and then texted. I got lost and said, hey, I was back at the room, and she said, hey, can you come and get me? And I said, I would love to, except for she had the keys, so I could not come to your rescue. And then so we were there for basically 2 days, really nice time there, and then we left Seydisfjordur just to sort of head down the coast a little bit to kind of a little bit of a fishing village kind of thing, and it was called Herpen. Okay, so I got to Herpen, and that was just kind of a one-night stay. Seems like kind of a popular place. There's really not a lot of places to stay along the way around that side of Iceland. So there's lots of people just come, they stay in these hostels. There's huge kitchens, stuff like that. Yeah, just kind of big communal area. It worked really well, but just tons and tons of people in the morning trying to make breakfast. We brought eggs and all of our usual breakfast stuff and coffee, but you just had to wait your turn and kind of make your way through everybody making their breakfast and stuff like that. So that worked really well. And then
there wasn't really a lot to do in that town, and that's where it started to get cold. So up until then we had really nice warm weather. Uncharacteristically warm, I think, for Iceland.
Yeah.
And then, but when we started coming around the south part, it was very cloudy and very windy and very cool. So.
Very dramatic, very Iceland dramatic, like low clouds and, you know, kind of a little bit of rain and stuff like that.
So not much to do there, but that is the beginning of the south coast where there is lots of things to do. So we knew we had a really long day the next day because we had to drive. It was only 400 kilometers, but it ended up taking us 11 hours to do it because there were so many things to stop and see on the way. So we stopped at a lagoon where the glacier ends up coming into the lagoon, so the ice blocks break off and make little icebergs in the glacier. And it was very cloudy. The clouds were very low that day, so we weren't able to see the glacier in behind, but it gave it a bit of like a magical feel with all of the fog around and stuff.
Yeah, and raining.
Yeah, and it was raining too.
Yeah, and cold.
But luckily we were prepared for that and got to wear our rain jackets for the first time. So then we went to Diamond Beach, which is where the ice will wash up on the beach. It's a black sand beach, and the ice washes up and it just looks like diamonds glittering all over the beach. So I guess in the sun it's supposed to be much brighter, but again, it was rainy and cloudy, but it was still kind of interesting to see. And we saw seals on that beach and in the lagoon too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's right.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then we stopped at one more waterfall before we got to where we were staying that night, and that one you can actually walk behind it. And it was really good timing for us because it's much better when the sun is coming down because it shines through the waterfall, and actually the sun came out for the first time that night, so we were able to enjoy walking behind the waterfall and getting sprayed a little bit from that.
Sprayed a little bit. You get pretty much soaked as you walk around the back, so we got some footage of that, kind of just walking around the back of that, and that was really fun. But before that, actually, right before that, that was the beach where there's the cylindrical like rocks, like octagonal rocks. That was like just full of people everywhere, but we just made the best of it. It was a big area, just had to park and walk a little bit, and got to look around. We didn't get any intimate time there where we could get pictures just with us, but there was tons of people. But it was fine, and once again cold and windy, but it was kind of fun to see those rocks that we've seen in so many other videos and advertising for Iceland.
And then the nice thing about the next 3 nights is we'd actually rented a little cabin just for ourselves, and it was kind of nice because all of the other nights we'd been staying in hostels or Airbnbs where we were sharing kitchens and sharing bathrooms, and actually it worked out really well, and they were all really nice, and it was a great experience. But it was really nice to have our own cabin with our own space to ourselves for a few nights. And then the next day the owner of the place we stayed in had recommended to go to the little fishing village, but there was really not much there.
On the other side of Selfoss, so you kind of go down the highway and
so that was a bit disappointing. But we stopped in Selfoss at the bakery, and got the big cinnamon bun with the chocolate on it. And then we drove to where the hike is, and this was one of the things I really wanted to do. But when we got there, I read the reviews, and it's a hike, and it was supposed to be about an hour to a thermal river that you can like actually get in and bathe in. And so, but when I got there, I read the reviews when we got there, and it said, oh, there's lots of bugs, there's lots of people. It's a
big hike. It's a really lot of elevation.
And so I got a little frustrated, but Kevin said, no, let's just go, and then we can always turn around or come back.
It'll be a nice hike anyway, even if it's a hike and come back because there's no room or it's too crowded. then we just came back. But
Yeah.
at
And
the
there,
end,
yeah. And there were lots of people on the trail, and it
Tons.
was a very, it was a lot of uphill and then downhill and then uphill again, but it was a beautiful hike.
Yeah.
And there was lots of room in the river, so you just had to kind of find a place to change over in the corner and find your own spot in the river. And we found a little corner that was all to ourselves, and it was very nice. So I was really glad that we did it.
And so it basically just have all the way on this boardwalk, and there was just little changing areas, kind of just little blinds set up, and so here's some footage from that just after we were soaking in the water. Then this is just kind of our exit on the way out.
We just hiked for 4 kilometers, which took us about an hour up over these mountains over here to this thermal river, and spent about an hour just sitting in the river and relaxing. So it was really nice. But now we have to fight the bugs on the way back.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really good experience. So I was glad that we did it.
Yeah, so that was we did the man-made lagoon, and this is our kind of natural hot springs adventure.
Yeah, and then yesterday we did the actual Golden Circle, which is what most people do when they come to Iceland, and it's very close to Reykjavík, and it has 3 quite amazing sites. One is a very large waterfall. One is the geyser that
Geysir.
erupts every 5 to 10 minutes. We got some good pictures and videos of that. And then the other one is Seydisfjordur Park, where the plates come to
North America and Europe
are moving
are
apart,
combined,
and so you can walk in between them. So those are the 3 big things that we did. And
Geysir is actually the Geysir was actually the genesis of geyser. So that's kind of neat to see.
The Icelandic word.
The Icelandic word. So it's neat to see that. We did see 2 pretty good eruptions, so we got some good footage of that. So that was to be perfectly honest, I think that the Golden Circle for me was a little bit of a letdown after going to some of the beautiful parts of the northern part of the island, which we definitely want to see again. Golden Circle, I don't think I'd do it again. I mean, we were there, we saw, we went, so it was pretty fun.
And then today we basically just packed up because we're staying in Reykjavík, which is the town right by the airport, because we're leaving for London tomorrow.
Yep.
And so we got here, and it's really gray and cloudy and cold, and it's a bit of a small place. There's not very much to do here. We found a nice hotel to have lunch at. And then we thought, we've always wanted, or been wanting to try one of the community pools all over Iceland, because they're very, very popular with Icelandic people. And so everywhere we go, we've always thought about going to one, but it hadn't worked out, and we thought, we have nothing to do all afternoon, let's go try this pool. And it actually was a really good time.
Yeah, it's right behind us actually. That's kind of why we shot this here, so you can see the water slides and the public pool with like 5 hot tubs with different temperatures, and
a cold pool.
And it just made me feel like we really missed the boat on stopping at some of these public pools. Eric and Karen mentioned that we should be going there, and we didn't listen to them. We didn't make it a priority, and I feel like we missed that. So I was actually able to do some lane swimming in here. We sat in the hot tub. We were there for probably an hour and a half in this pool, and we really enjoyed that. So next time we come to Iceland, more public pools and less hot tub adventures for several $100s or whatever they cost. So that was the end. We're like Giselle said, we're flying out tomorrow, and heading off to London, off on the next leg of our tour here. So